Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today it's going to be a discussion video and we're going to be talking about why I think the Hoang rush is so powerful even if you know it's coming. So to give context for this video, I've been Hoang rushed a lot of times to the point where I can say I really am a victim of Hoang and his tactics and his trickery. But I know I'm not the only one out there. I know there's a lot of other top players that struggle and that do fall to the Hoang rush. Now, just to give some overview of what the strategy is for those who might not know what it is, Hoang is a Vietnamese player who is notorious for one strategy, which is him picking Celts and him going for a very fast castle, so either a Drush into fast castle or just a pure fast castle, and then going for an completely all-in build where he goes for siege, a few spearmen, and some knights, and maybe some monks, and tries to kill your TC, or in his words, eat your TC, before you have a chance to actually defend yourself or fight him back. And if you try to counterattack, it doesn't really matter because he doesn't have any economy. He has just a bit of villagers on wood, bit of villagers on gold, and a market to balance his economy as much as he needs, and he doesn't actually make villagers in Castle Age. So counterattacking is only good if you can force him off one of those two resources, and killing one or two villagers isn't going to slow him down because he doesn't really need a good economy. He just needs the resources right then and there at the start of Castle Age. So in a nutshell, that's the strategy, and I've got a lot of videos on YouTube, and you've seen me on Twitch quite a few times dying to this fella, and also beating him in some cases. I would say I have a decent win rate there. I win some, I lose some. But I want to tackle a certain point today, and I get asked this a lot in Twitch as well, and I see this question floating around, that if Age of Empires is a strategy game, and generally speaking, if you know the opponent's strategy, it's considered a very advantageous thing, then why, since pros know what Hoang's going to do, why do sometimes we have trouble stopping it? And I will say, knowing it's coming helps a lot. If Hoang somehow was able to disguise it and not do it every game and just pull it out here and there, it would be much more powerful. But even if he does it every game, it's still hard for the following reasons. So the first reason is that on ranked games, pros, most streamers tend to play random civ. And some matchups are just really bad against Celts or against early siege pressure. If you don't have Redemption Monks, if you don't have Bloodlands on your Knights or Scouts, it makes it very awkward to defend siege pushes in certain cases, certain civ matchups. So the first thing to talk about is the civ. Now, if you're able to pick your civ, things like Mongols against, just getting to Magadai and just playing against Celt Siege is really good. Castle dropping near a town center so you cannot kill it. Is a really good strategy, and I think other good strategies are Aztecs going for Redemption Monks with a lot of HP, and then some other strategies like, I don't know, maybe Magyars going full Feudal Scouts can be decent if you have a civ like that. So I think those options are probably your go-to picks, Mongols and Aztecs, and then other civs you have to figure it out. But if you get a civ that doesn't do well against Celts, you're going to be in for a bad run. The second thing I want to talk about is that generally speaking, Hoang is laming every time he can on the rank ladder, and most pros do not lame on the rank ladder, although I will say pros tend to lame when they are lamed, and I say pros very leniently here. I would say streamers, so top level streamers playing Hoang, whoever they may be. Most of them tend not to lame, and so Hoang is going to have the upper hand, which he's always going to try for the lame. That's his whole strategy. He tries to lame in Dark Age, gets a small advantage, and then ends the game in Castle Age. So the first point was the civilization. Second point is that he's coming out to lame you, whereas you might not be thinking about that right away. I know that happens to me all the time, where I get lamed and I'm just worrying about other things like the chat and all that stuff in a ranked game. And so that's right off the bat 2 points that he gets an advantage just by picking civ and laming constantly. Now the third thing I want to talk about, and this is really when it comes to taking a dive into the civilization, which is Celts, and why Celts work so well with the strategy. To understand this, we have to actually go into the technology tree, which is the whole point I was waiting at that area, by the way. And I'm going to scroll through to Celts, and I talked about this on my stream the other day. Hoang's strategy is actually using 4 bonuses from Celts and arguably 5. The first one is that infantry moves 15% faster. He makes spearmen as part of his rush, and them getting the bonus of 15% faster is a decent bonus. That's one, kind of a minor one. Second one, and this would be a major one, lumberjacks work 15% faster, which is one of the best early game eco bonuses out there. In fact, in a Hoang rush game, this eco bonus is infinitely better than the Viking eco bonus that gives them free wheelbarrow and handcart, because more often than not, they're not able to make use of that bonus because by the time Cassage comes in, they're going to either die or have to defend right away, so handcart doesn't get time to kick in. So this is one of the best bonuses for this kind of strategy. The third one, and this is another major bonus, is that siege weapons fire 25% faster. This applies to rams as well. So the Celt rams are actually very hard to take care of, especially when he's garrisoning them with villagers or spearmen that makes them attack faster and do more damage. And then, combine that with Celts, would have extra firing power for the ram. Those rams move fast and do a lot of damage. It's so hard to stop Celt rams once they get onto your TC. And this also applies to scorpions and magnos, of course. And then the fourth one, which is arguably a bonus or not, so this will be like the fifth one that we'll take on the side, is that you can steal sheep, and sheep within one Celt unit line of sight cannot be stolen. This helps Hoang in his laming. He can run into your TC, steal some sheep, and then just take them home even if you try to get them back. So that's pretty interesting there for sure. And then next up, he's got the fourth bonus, or maybe the fifth, is that siege workshops work 20% faster, which is the team bonus. And this helps a lot. This is another major bonus because he needs this to be able to get out like 2-3 scorpions, 2 rams, and just push and kill your TC very fast. And if you're doing defensive siege, your siege is going to be weaker by firing slower, and it's not going to come out as fast. So siege defense is inherently hard to play against Celts. So just to recap, he's got 3 bonuses, which is siege weapons fire 25% faster, major bonus, lumberjack, major bonus, siege workshop working faster, major bonus. So 3 major bonuses, and then 2 minor ones, infantry moving faster, and sheep cannot be stolen. He's literally using every single one of his bonuses one way or another. If you compare this to any other siege civilization like Aztecs, you get maybe a couple bonuses with the 50 food, with the 50 gold, the eco bonus, and the military producing faster. That's 3. Maybe if you go monks, that's a 4th one, but these aren't nearly as powerful as what Celts have. Think about Berbers with the cheaper knights. Well, cheaper knights, faster moving villagers, that's about it. Berbers doesn't really work as well. Slavs is another popular one that people ask, why not Slavs? So we'll go to Slavs. They get farmers working 10% faster, which is infinitely weaker than the Celts one, because you don't farm too much in the strategy. Siege workshops units are cheaper, but then, okay, military buildings provide extra population room. Boom, that's 2 bonuses and maybe a third. That's at most 3 bonuses, and none of them are as good as the Celt bonuses. And then I don't know if you can consider another civilization that could do a siege push nearly as strong as Celts. You guys get the point. Any civilization will not be able to do this nearly as good as what Celts can do in this exact strategy. And so for Hoang, Celts is really the perfect civ for this Hoang rush, which is not just a siege push, it's really an all-in siege, pike, and knight push. And the goal is to kill the TC. Now, it wouldn't be a Hera video if I didn't talk about ways to stop this push, and I did mention the Mongols at first, probably my favorite way. Aztecs is there as well. Nikov recently told me that Saracens are really good. You just do the market abuse faster than him, and then you show up to Castle Age a minute earlier and say, what's up, Hoang? His prices will be terrible. So these are all ways to kind of defend them, probably the best ways. But I also think a full feudal is a really good way. If you have bloodlines on your scouts, you go full feudal with a few archers to kill the spearmen and a bunch of scouts to snipe siege and kill his knights. And that's a really good way to be able to fight his army, catch his villagers coming forward if you can, and even allow you to counterattack. The downside to that is that, of course, you're going to be in feudal age. And so if you're not able to clear him out, he's going to be in Castle Age and he's going to have attack advantage. And if you're taking kind of mediocre fights, he'll eventually be able to overpower you once his eco comes, kicks in. Because after a little bit, he can start adding eco himself as well. So that's one way to stop it with the full feudal. And I think the last way to stop it, and probably the best way, even though it's not very consistent, is to make a lot of outposts across your map if you know what's coming, and snipe his villager as he comes forward to build the siege shop. But oftentimes what Hoang does to adapt to this is if he sees you preparing for it, he does the siege shop from home, but that still buys you another minute or 2 to set up a defense and take him out. So best defensive units are probably siege and monk, and if you can do some knights, it's really good. Crossbow is my least favorite against it. Crossbows get completely clobbered half the time, so I wouldn't recommend it. So that's kind of my ways to stop it. But again, why I feel like it's so powerful, I mentioned several points there, and if I can recap, it's him picking the civ, it's him laming every time, it's Celts using 4 or 5 bonuses right off the bat that no civ can ever match up until that stage of the game. And I think the last thing I'll say is just the fact that the market itself is so strong at balancing your economy, giving you the right resources, even though it's worse over time. It doesn't matter if it's worse over time if it's really good at that particular time frame. So Hoang, credit to him, has done a really good job of finding the perfect strategy that hits the right timing and has found the perfect civ to fit that strategy, or the perfect strategy to fit the civ. I'm not sure which came first, the civ or the strategy. But he's found both of them that work really well together, and honestly, props to him. It's really hard to stop. And I probably go like 50-50 against it on ranked ladder. Maybe a bit more in my favor, like 60-40, but still quite tough on his end. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you found it interesting. The reason I'm doing this video is because it was on my mind and I talked about it on stream a while ago. And I'm also doing So You Want to Play next in the queue. So You Want to Play Celts is coming up, and I figured there's no better way to do So You Want to Play Celts besides talking about the Hoang Rush in a video previous to that. So thanks all for watching those on Twitch for the subathon, and thank you to those watching on YouTube if this does make it there. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care. Catch you guys next time. Peace.